Hello, my dears. Welcome. I'm Lady Creepypasta. This evening, we have a tale by author Kathy Joy, also known as Redditor Kath Joy, and it is a story about a perfect little boy. So come now, my dears. Lean in closer, and we'll begin. 10 years ago, when I was a newly minted detective inspector, I was given an unusual case. Officers had been called to a home disturbance only to find a mother trying to carve her 4-year-old son like a Christmas ham. The officers managed to subdue her, and the woman was placed in police custody. It was my job to figure out what happened. I started questioning the mother. Her name was Rachel. During the interrogation, she sat stock still, staring into space, dark circles under her eyes, trembling. Despite my best efforts to coax her to talk, all she did was repeat, "My perfect little boy," over and over. I went to Rachel's flat to see if I could find any clues. That's when I discovered her computer. It turned out that Rachel had been a blogger, and a reasonably popular one too. Hoping it might offer a window into her broken mind, I went through each post. What I found shook me to my very core. I won't show every post, but I'll share enough to give you an idea of what happened, minus the extraneous ramblings, of course. Date, Wednesday, July 5th. Title, So I Started a Blog. I've been struggling a lot recently, so my sister suggested I write a blog. So here I am. Let's get something out of the way. I'm a single parent. I live in a tiny flat with my 3-year-old boy, Joshua. He's an angel. He's always been easy to take care of. He cried very little as a baby, and I didn't even need to do much to get him to sleep through the night. I often think he did it himself. I've always been so proud of my genius little boy. The problem is I work from home. Being a single parent, I can't afford childcare, so I found a job writing product content. Basically, a company gives me details of their product, and I write the text that goes in the pamphlets or on their website, as well as product descriptions, etc. It's as dull as it sounds, but it pays the bills. As you can imagine, I'm often glued to my computer. I feel so guilty when Joshua asks me to play, and I have to tell him, "Mummy's working just a little longer." I took this job so I could be with him, but he's left to entertain himself almost every day. Am I a bad mother? Date, Friday, July 21st. Title, Thanks for the support. I just wanted to thank everyone for their supportive comments. Sorry I haven't responded to everyone individually. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can here. Lots of you have been asking about Joshua's father. Well, when I waved the positive pregnancy test at my husband, instead of being happy, he looked shocked, then angry. He accused me of cheating. Turns out, hubby dearest had gotten a vasectomy in secret. Can you believe it? Like all couples, we discussed our views on having kids. He said he wanted them. That turned out to be a lie. He knew I really wanted them, and he said he did too, so I would marry him. For the record, I did not have an affair. I loved my husband more than anything. I did my research. Sometimes vasectomies don't stick. Not that he cared. He packed his things and moved out, leaving me alone and pregnant. After months of fighting, I decided Joshua and I didn't need him in our lives, so I signed the divorce papers. I haven't heard from him since. Good riddance. When Joshua started asking about his father, I lied and said he died before he was born. It didn't seem all that far from the truth. When he's old enough, I'll tell him, but for now, the last thing I want is for him to know his own father didn't want him. Date, Thursday, 2nd November. Title, I got the job. You know, I applied for that permanent role. I got the job. Now I have a steady income. I won't have to work so many hours. I can't wait to spend more time with my precious little boy. I'll still keep the blog running and update you on how things are going. Date, Friday, December 8th. Title, Should I be worried? I peeked into Joshua's room to check on him and found him sitting on the bed, giggling, talking to somebody. Nobody else was in the room. I figured it was just an imaginary friend. Over dinner, Joshua smiled and hummed to himself as he ate. He looked happy. Is it okay for kids to have imaginary friends? Date, Tuesday, December 5th. Title, Imaginary Friend Drama. I took everyone's advice and asked him about his imaginary friend. Now I wish I hadn't. He told me he was talking to Daddy. Maybe I made a mistake telling him his father was dead. He seems so happy, though. Happier than he's been in a long time. Should I tell him the truth? Date, Saturday, January 9th. Title, New Friends. You guys remember the new couple who moved into the building, right? The ones with the little boy about Joshua's age. Well, I took the plunge like you guys suggested, and it worked out perfectly. Here's the scoop. The couple are called Clara and Mike. Their son is called Tommy. He loves trucks and Legos, just like Joshua. Joshua was a little hesitant at first, but when Mike broke out a huge box of Legos, our boys dove into it, and we didn't hear a peep out of them for hours. The two have become inseparable. Joshua is already begging to have a sleepover. Best of all, since he and Tommy have been playing together, Joshua hasn't mentioned his imaginary friend once. Sunday, February 21st. Title, Daddy's Back. I was watching Tommy for Clara while she ran some errands. The boys were playing in Joshua's room as usual. I kept the door open so I could keep an eye on them. Suddenly, Tommy screamed, and I ran inside. He had a red mark over his face. Joshua was hiding in the corner. I managed to calm Tommy down. When he told me Joshua hit him, I was mortified. Joshua knows better than that. Joshua claimed Daddy did it. I separated the boys, keeping Joshua in his room so he could think about what he had done. Is this imaginary friend thing getting out of hand? Date, Saturday, February 27th, 2016. Title, Help. Things have gotten worse. Joshua is throwing stuff around his room. I haven't caught him doing it yet. By the time I get to his room, the mess has already been made. The furniture is tipped over and his stuff is thrown about the place. He also keeps screaming, "Mummy says you're not real," over and over in the middle of the night. The neighbors downstairs are complaining about the noise. I don't blame them. I've taken all the furniture out of his room and it seems to have stopped, but I can't stop him shouting. Should I take him to a therapist? Date, Wednesday, May 4th. Title, New Pet. These are pictures of our new kitten. Many of you suggested getting a pet to keep Joshua company. He named it Fluffy. Not original, but he's 4. I was a little hesitant at first. Cats have been going missing around the neighborhood, so I told Joshua that Fluffy must stay inside. That should keep the little fella safe. Joshua was so excited when we picked out a collar and some toys. He loves playing with Fluffy while I work. The weird thing is, the cat will go everywhere in the house, except Joshua's bedroom. Date, Wednesday, June 1st. Title, Fluffy is missing. Fluffy's missing. I asked Joshua if he let it out, but he said no. I can't think of where the little guy could be. I'll put up posters. We'll find him soon. Date, Wednesday, June 15th, 2016. Title, Worried. Since Fluffy went missing, Joshua has gotten worse. He keeps talking to somebody in his room. When I open the door, he stops and looks at me blankly. I asked him who he's talking to, but he just shrugs and says nobody. It's creepy as fuck. Maybe it's the sleep deprivation talking. I keep having nightmares of being chased through my house. It feels so real that I can't go back to sleep afterwards. Date, Saturday, July 2nd, 2016. Title, Tommy is missing. Tommy is missing. Clara knows she tucked him into bed last night, but when she checked on him this morning, his bed was empty. I checked Joshua's room just in case he had snuck in. He wasn't. I asked Joshua if he had seen Tommy, but he just shook his head. Date, Sunday, July 3rd. Title, Update on Tommy. The police found Tommy's pajamas covered in blood in an alleyway outside, but there's no sign of her little boy. With Clara's permission, I have put up a picture of Tommy. Please, post it far and wide. If anyone has any information, please call the police and quote the crime number below. Date, Friday, July 8th. Title, I think I'm going crazy. I haven't been sleeping. As soon as I start to drift off, I hear the cry of a cat or a sobbing of a child. I rush to Joshua's room, but he's fast asleep. I feel like I'm being watched. The nightmares have been getting worse. When I wake up, I swear I see a dark figure looming over me, but it vanishes. I'm scared. Unpublished draft. Date, Saturday, July 17th. Title, Please help me. Oh God, oh God, oh God. They're here. All of them. Under the floorboards. All the missing cats. And Tommy. Oh God, I found Tommy. Crammed in a suitcase in Joshua's closet. There's blood everywhere. Joshua just stood there, smiling. Evil doesn't look evil. If it did, you'd never let it into your home. Never let it get close. Evil looks innocent, sweet. It fools everyone. I've locked myself in my bedroom. He's at the door. Please, somebody help me. My son, or whatever the fuck he is trying to break down the door. It's too hard for just a little boy. I think I can hear another voice. A man's voice. Mommy, Daddy wants to play, Joshua keeps saying. The hinges are starting to come loose. I can't get to my phone. My son is a monster. I don't know if he was ever a little boy. Please, help me. Date, Saturday, July 17th. Title, My Perfect Little Boy. Everything is fine. Don't call me. Don't leave me messages. I will ignore them all. From now on, it's all about Joshua and me. My perfect little boy. My perfect little boy. My perfect little boy. My perfect little boy. That My Perfect Little Boy crap went on for several pages. The draft was up for about 5 minutes before it was removed by the user and replaced with the My Perfect Little Boy one. I handed in my initial report. Forensics searched the place. Sure enough, they found the bodies of various cats and other small animals under the floorboards and Tommy's body in the suitcase in the closet, just like the entry said. Shortly after the incident, the blog was removed out of respect for everyone involved. You won't find it anywhere, except here. Rachel was charged with the murder of Tommy as well as child abuse and reckless endangerment. Her defense managed to secure an insanity plea with little difficulty, especially when countless specialists agreed she had postpartum depression and potentially schizophrenia. Strange as it may sound, I felt sorry for Rachel. Watching her descent into madness through her blog posts was hard. The warning signs had been there. There was so much pressure on her to be the perfect mother that she cracked. Or at least that's what I thought then. Now, I know better. 2 weeks ago, my daughter Beverly called and begged for my help. 2 of her foster kids, twin 7-year-old girls, went missing. She reported it to the police immediately, and they were dealing with it, but she wanted me to look around their room to see if I could find anything, just to reassure her, I guess. As her father, I couldn't say no. Sadly, I didn't find anything. As I came downstairs, I saw her other foster kid sitting on the kitchen table eating dinner. The moment I clapped eyes on him, I recognized him. Those blue eyes and that mop of golden blonde hair. He had grown taller and lankier, but there was no denying it was Joshua. He smiled, and it felt like an arrow made of ice shot through me. There was something off about his gaze. I brushed it aside and told myself I imagined it. That night, I had a nightmare about being chased through my house. Something dark and shapeless was snapping at my heels, inching closer and closer. I was wrenched out of the horrific vision when my phone went off. For the briefest second, I thought I saw a dark figure looming over the bed before it vanished. I reached for my mobile phone, which was perched on the bedside table. It was 2 a.m. I answered, trying not to sound as groggy as I felt. Then the caller said words that every parent dreads hearing. "DCI Massey? It's your daughter. Something's happened." I drove like a bat out of hell to Beverly's. Police were already swarming the place, the flashing blues of the squad cars casting a sinister glow. Nobody would meet my gaze. A few officers tried to bar my path as I stormed up the pathway to the door, but I shoved them aside. Inside, my little girl was strewn over the floor, her body bent at unnatural angles. Sitting at her side was Joshua. He looked up when I approached, eyes locking with mine. I could have sworn I saw the little bastard smile as I drew near. "Daddy did it," he said quietly, the trace of a grin on his lips. Beverly's spine had been snapped with such force that Joshua was immediately disregarded as a suspect, despite his history. There was no way a skinny 14-year-old had the strength to do that, they said. I knew better. I told them to check under the floorboards, and lo and behold, they found the bodies of the twins who had gone missing. They had been crammed into plastic bags to contain the smell of their rotting corpses. Even still, they let Joshua go. The girls had been savaged the same way as my daughter. Instead, Beverly's husband, a burly fireman, came under fire. They're going to charge him with 3 counts of murder. They're wrong. I know who really did it. I saw it on his smug little face. Joshua. There's only one way to stop this. I have a gun, and I plan to use it. That's why I'm writing this. I need everyone to know why I'm about to gun down a 14-year-old boy. Rachel was right. Evil doesn't look evil. That's why I'm going to do what she couldn't. I'm going to make sure he doesn't hurt anyone else. And if the little monster gets me first, I need everyone to know what he really is. He's a perfect little boy. 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 Little boy. If you enjoyed this tale by Kathy Joy, do pop me a message on Twitter or on Facebook to let me know. My handle is Lady McCreepster on both. If you are watching this on YouTube, pop a comment below. I would like to thank all the members of my dark family on Patreon, both new and those who have been with me from the very beginning. As you may already be aware, producing horror content has been a bit challenging recently, so your support really does help put these episodes together. If you too would like to become a member of our little cult, go to patreon.com/Lady McCreepster. A direct link is in the episode description below. That's all I have for you this evening, my dears. Till next time, sweet dreams.